BRAINY Dose presents 15 Things Highly Intuitive People Do Differently. Do you ever look back at something and wonder how it would have turned out if you'd actually followed your gut feeling? Well, that feeling is your intuition. Whether you realize it or not, your intuition is subconsciously forming your decisions and opinions on things. It warns you of potential danger and helps guide you through important points in your life. Cognitive science is beginning to demystify the strong but sometimes inexplicable presence of unconscious reasoning in our lives and thoughts. There's a growing body of anecdotal evidence combined with solid research efforts that suggests intuition is a critical aspect of how we humans interact with our environment and ultimately how we make many of our decisions. Some people are more intuitive than others, and here's how they do things differently. Number 1, they slow down enough to hear their inner voice. Before someone can pay attention to their intuition, they first have to be able to hear it. It's important to slow down and listen. Intuitive people know that for their intuition to operate at peak efficiency, rest and recuperation are paramount in order to let other energies settle and disperse. Thus, they don't mind finding a quiet place away from the busy world. In fact, they are considered introverts, as they tend to draw energy from within. Solitude and quiet makes it easier to connect with their inner voice on a deeper level. Number 2, they trust their gut. One of the primary reasons that some people are more intuitive than others is that they actually listen to their gut feeling instead of dismissing or doubting it. This doesn't mean that every ache and pain calls for drastic measures, but intuitive people know that they must pay attention to how they feel in order to care for themselves. They don't call intuition a gut feeling for no reason. In fact, scientists have discovered that our gut is essentially a second brain because of the sheer number of neurons lining the intestinal walls. Furthermore, some experts believe that in our decision-making process, our gut instincts are more effective and efficient than logical analysis. And that doesn't mean that intuitive people ignore their analytical mind and their critical thinking skills. There's a difference between using reason to help make a decision and using it to talk yourself out of what your intuition knows to be true. Number 3, they are observant, deep thinkers. You may think that a person who is guided by their intuition has little need for deep thought and contemplation. But the opposite is closer to the truth. They find it extremely helpful to focus their minds on their values and core beliefs. This allows them to further refine their intuition so that it provides them with better guidance. In order for their gut to provide sensible and effective recommendations, they will keep a watchful eye on their environment and the situation at hand. They notice small things that others deem unimportant. Their minds are alert and focused, and as a result, they can often predict outcomes or avoid certain circumstances by trusting their intuition. Number 4, they analyze their dreams. Most people remember bits and pieces of a dream they had just minutes before waking up. However, a more intuitive person will have vivid dreams and be able to remember them clearly. And they don't just think, wow, that was a weird dream. They ask themselves, where did that come from? And what can I take away from it? Intuition forms a link between the conscious and unconscious mind, which is why a highly intuitive person recognizes the importance of dreams. They know that what they think about during sleep can be a metaphor for their underlying desires and fears. They also understand that dreams can provide solutions to the problems they face or provide other forms of inspiration. Number 5, they are acutely aware of their feelings. Whereas many people attempt to numb their feelings or ignore them altogether, an intuitive person values the feedback their feelings provide. They have a high level of self-awareness, meaning they are keenly in tune with their inner feelings and perspective about themselves. They know that their feelings have valuable messages for them that can help shine a light on the path they should take. They don't just feel a feeling, they think about what it's trying to tell them. Number 6, they are typically optimistic. Being more closely aligned with their feelings than most, Intuitive people are better equipped to process anything negative that may arise from within before detaching themselves from it. Because they are able to quickly learn lessons from their mistakes, this generally makes them optimistic about the future. They know that good can come out of bad, and that progress can be made, no matter how bleak the outlook appears at any given time. Number 7, they can sense what others are thinking and feeling. Intuitive people commonly have very good empathetic abilities, meaning they can sense what others are thinking and feeling. They often connect with strangers effortlessly. Because they can easily place themselves in someone else's shoes, they are able to offer advice and guidance when needed. In other cases, highly intuitive people will easily notice other people's feelings and emotions just by close observation, thanks to their skills in bonding with their inner selves and the natural aspects of humankind. Number 8, they can easily build trust with others. With such a good grasp on how other people are feeling, intuitive people are well equipped to choose the most appropriate responses. They can instantly tell how open someone is and tailor the way they behave to progress at a speed the other person is comfortable with. This non-threatening approach makes them very likable. Number 9, they nurture their creativity. It is not the logical sense in art that captivates people's interest, but rather the illogical aspects that most people cannot seem to explain. Musicians, artists, dancers, writers, and creators all allow their creativity to guide them through life, and they don't really question whether it makes sense or not. In fact, they are following their passions because they know that their creativity makes them feel alive. No idea is too far-fetched for a highly intuitive person, and this freedom gives their imagination and creative side full scope to imagine and create. They let their mind take them wherever it wants to go, which results in thoughts and ideas packed with unique perspectives. Number 10, they manage their fears. Intuitive people understand that their fears don't last. Fear is just a signal for them to assess a situation and proceed with the right course of action, because ignoring it won't make it go away. They know that their fear is an opportunity to listen to their inner wisdom on how to best handle the situation. Number 11, they don't dwell on negativity. Intuition becomes strained when connected to negativity. Highly intuitive people try to avoid sadness and ill feelings as much as possible. That's not to say that they never get upset, but they tend to let go of anger a lot easier than others. They do observe their feelings of anger, but instead of letting that feeling sit and grow, they let go of it and move on. Inherently instinctive people are often first to make peace with things, especially when it comes to grief or loss. Number 12, they know how to flow. Intuitive people develop a great deal of self-confidence. Not only are they confident in their ability to deal with obstacles, but this allows them to deal with adversity with a more relaxed attitude. These people know that everything comes and goes, so they learn to flow without difficulty, and they don't cling to situations, whether it be positive or negative. This wisdom gives them great equanimity to cope with stumbling blocks. Number 13, they feel and love deeply. Intuitive people are highly sensitive, and they don't hold back their emotions. They express freely and without any inhibition. They feel totally comfortable in their own skin, and they don't apologize for having human emotions. Their openness is so infectious that it creates a safe space for others to do the same. They are fiercely loyal, and they love deeply, mostly without any expectations or demands. Number 14, they practice mindfulness. Meditation and other mindfulness practices are excellent ways to tap into one's intuition. It's highly likely that a particularly intuitive person practices mindfulness every day. It's these practices that make their intuition and sense of being stronger and more sensitive to the world. It helps them absorb and process information as well as they can. Mindfulness can help filter out mental chatter, weigh options objectively, and ultimately make a decision that they can stand behind completely. Number 15, they have a strong sense of purpose. Without necessarily knowing what it may be, highly intuitive people tend to feel a strong sense of purpose in their lives. They believe they have a calling that they are destined to answer, and they like to move forward with passion to uncover the full meaning of this feeling. There is one major difference that separates highly intuitive people from everyone else, and that difference is trust. Highly intuitive people know how to trust themselves. Many of us are still so accustomed to more logical and rational thinking that we block out our own intuitive knowing of what we should do, making the more safe play in many of life's circumstances. But we all have an inner voice, and we can choose to listen to it or choose to ignore it. We want to know what you think. And do you tend to trust your gut feeling, or do you follow your analytical thinking more? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so we can keep making them. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and remember to click on the notification bell. Also, be sure to check out our other videos as well. Thanks for watching.